What are you doing, Tina?
What are you doing, Jenny?
We are two women living our best lives in the Black Hills of South Dakota, sharing our stories, laughs, and projects happening in the garage.
Whether you're looking for a bit of joy, a spark of creativity, or just a comforting voice, you can find it here. Unicorn!
Welcome to the Unicorn Project's episode 8.
Boom, boom! Woo!
It's more fun every time we do it.
It does.
Yeah.
We're getting comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Totally, we're getting in the groove.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to ask a question. That's what we're going to start with.
Okay.
Ooh,
This is deep.
mystery.
Are you prepared?
mysterious.
Always.
If you could spend a day in someone else's shoes, who would it be and why?
I have a clarifying question if I can. Do I get to be me or do I have to be them?
You're going to be them.
So I'm not me with their resources and lifestyle, or I'm that person.
You are that person.
Okay, I'm good. I got who I would be.
All right. Let's hear it.
Pink.
Really?
Really?
Hands down.
Why?
For a number of reasons. On the surface, as a performer, who she is so relatable. There's a lot of engagement with the crowd. There's a lot of authenticity with the crowd. We have seen her, up close and in person do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What I know about her just through news articles, interviews, social media, she is just this fun-loving, very focused on being a mom, loves to be a mom, has a great relationship with her husband.
She seems so genuine.
She is, yes. And I think just a heartfelt individual. I think a lot of the things that we openly talk about are things that she also openly talks about or has experienced. So there's relatability for me on that front. And frankly, she's just a badass.
Yeah.
She goes to her kids' soccer games. She doesn't shy away from the persona that she is at nighttime, if you will.
Right.
When she's on a stage performing, or have you watched, Jenny and I watched the documentary.
Oh, I did.
Oh, it was so good.
And that is how I perceive her to be all the time.
Yeah, I don't think she has
Another side.
Yeah, another side. I think she is who she is all the time.
Yeah.
Which I love that about people.
Like even when she was on, what is it, like carpool karaoke or whatever. I don't know. I think she quietly does good. Mm-hmm. She's active in her community. She shows up for people, especially the people that are close to her.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's
awesome.
I think that's who I would spend a day as.
Would you want to fly through the audience like she does?
Yeah.
On those ropes?
Oh, yeah. If I could pack all of the good parts of her day, because I'm sure on a concert day, it's pretty low key. She's trying to save energy. She's trying not to talk to save her vocal cords, I would want to experience a non-concert day and a concert day in one. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And her husband, Carrie Hart.
Yeah.
He seems cool too.
Super cool guy.
Yeah.
And I think they have this really playful, honest relationship. Like they talk about the good things, they talk about the bad things, they experience all of it, and
They're like us.
I anticipate that they would be very open with their kids, no topic off the table, and that's how we are. I just think there's a lot of relatability.
Yeah. That's good.
That's who I would be. How about you, Amy?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, hands down, Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, good choice.
Oh.
Tell me why.
Because she is who I am on the inside.
Oh, that's so fun.
That is so telling. I think that's so true.
I've never met anybody that is so outspoken and lovable and funny and I'm one of those people that just says all the inappropriate things. You haven't seen that
Yeah.
side of me yet. Maybe a little bit,
Yeah.
but not full.
Yeah.
Where I just like to get people's reaction by saying certain things or doing certain things, and she's that person every day. She gets to get paid to be in
Right.
movies to be that person,
Right.
and I would just love to do that.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
It's so freeing to
Yeah.
even think about it.
Yeah. No boundaries, no filter.
Yeah, and just fun all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a great actress. She's got a good vibe. Like I could see why you would choose her.
And I would get to go hang out with Jenny McCarthy too, who's also very funny.
Oh, yeah. Totally very funny. I've been a Jenny McCarthy fan since the old MTV days.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Gosh, that takes me back.
Totally.
MTV, is that?
Wasn't she a host of that game show where they
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
would jump in the goo and
in
stuff?
the goo.
Totally.
Is MTV still on?
It is.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. We don't have. We just stream everything.
Oh, my God.
so we
Somebody
don't watch.
sent me like a link. I can't remember exactly how old, but remember Kurt Loder from MTV? He was a VJ. He turned like a big birthday. It was like 70 or 80. And it was like, if you didn't feel old before, just
You
letting
know.
you know how old Kurt Loder is. I was like, oh gosh. But I think the coolest thing happened with XM because now all the VJs are back on XM on the stations.
Really? I did
Yeah.
not know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I listen to local radio.
Yeah. What local radio do you listen to?
Cat country,
Nice.
mostly,
Nice.
and also the mix.
Oh, very good. Wide range of music.
Yeah, for those that don't know, why don't you tell us what your other job is?
Oh, I'm one of the hosts of the Roadhouse Show with Brandon Jones and Dean Taylor.
Crazy. you have so many cool gigs that you do.
I do. I love my job.
yeah.
I can't believe I get
Just
paid
this
for this.
wide range. Like you're a judge, like a talent judge. You DJ. You
Yeah.
at nighttime. Like you. Let's.
And let's ask Amy, how many podcasts have you produced?
And continue to produce.
Yeah.
Do I name them all? The Daily Slice.
Yeah.
Bounce from the Roadhouse. We have Citizen's Arrest.
Such a
The
funny name.
Unicorn Projects, which is my favorite. And a new one that's coming out with the school system.
Oh.
Yes. That I probably shouldn't mention yet.
Okay.
Because it's still coming out.
Yeah. Fair. Totally fair.
totally
so
fair.
you've got your hands full on that front as well.
I think that's it. And I did have a series one about a millionaire that was in town posting billboards looking for a wife.
Oh,
My gosh.
Yeah, that was.
tell us more about that.
He's still not married.
Jenny.
Ladies. ladies.
I don't think you. I don't think you want.
No.
No. I'm married. I am not interested.
No, I mean anybody listening.
Yeah.
I would never put anybody in that position on purpose.
No.
Right?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, mine's going to be.
who would be your
Mine's
person?
kind of odd.
I see her wheels.
No.
All right.
No,
So I always think about what it would be like to be someone with a skill that I could never have. And so I think my answer is Patrick Mahomes.
Are you
I
serious?
would love to play in an NFL football game and throw the ball like he throws the
Yeah.
ball and experience all of that team culture. And, you know, I think he's got great leadership skills. And I think he's just an amazing guy. And I think it would be really fun, number one, to live in a man's body for a day and be able to do all the things that they can do, but also to like, I don't know,
experience the pomp.
experience the pomp
an
of an
game.
NFL game from the field.
And
Yeah.
stand to pee.
Yeah. Right.
Amen.
Totally. And, you know,
Yeah.
lift heavier things. Plus, he has a personal chef that I'd also be very excited about.
Oh, don't you wish you could have one?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I always say if I were like rich and money were no object, what would I hire? I would hire a driver and a chef. So I just got picked up in a warm car every day, like, and taken to wherever I need to go and come home to like delicious cooked dinner.
I think you can get there. I think you're on your way.
So I have a question, if I may. On that note, and on the heels of your response of 5, 6, 7 podcasts that you produce, how long have those other podcasts been around, and where do we fall? Like, we've got, Jenny and I in our mind have some goals, some milestones that we're trying to reach along the way, and I'm just curious, now that we've been doing this for a month and a half, closing in on 2 months, what your take is.
Well, as my boss told you, we've never had a podcast grow this quickly in our system. We have podcasts that have been around 3 years, 6 years, and you're getting ready to pass them.
Wow.
So, that's crazy. I didn't realize they had been around that long. But
Me neither.
I just look at overall downloads and total downloads per week.
You have more downloads than some podcasts have, and that they've been working on for a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. From the analytics, I look at numbers. I can't see the header to look at the categories or what the key performance factors are.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something about it.
There is something there.
We got a cool message this morning from a follower about wanting Tina to write a book where it's separated into home maintenance by season. So like there's 4 parts of it, like fall, winter, spring, summer. And then in each of the seasons, there's, like checklists and how-tos of home maintenance that you need to do.
I like that. I'd read that.
Heck yeah. But just to have it even as a reference manual.
Anyway,
I could do that.
Lots of possibilities.
We changed our screens out the other day. Please tell me there's an easier way to do it.
Screens, as in
Like window screens?
Window screens,
they're impossible. It's a
Oh my
pain.
gosh.
So we are doing it right.
Yeah. If you're
horrible.
not swearing and you're not
horrible.
struggling, you're not doing it right.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
totally.
A book, like almost like a home maintenance checklist, like a weekly checklist that could be applicable to different regions. That would have to, north versus south. Like southern climates aren't going to necessarily experience the winter climate that we have up here, so they may be a bit different, but conceptually they would be aligned.
Yeah, I just wanted to plant that seed because I thought it was a really cool
That's a great idea.
But if you had the choice to write a book about anything, would it be that or would it be something else?
I've never thought about that. I would need a moment to think about that.
Yeah.
Jenny has talked to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Jenny has said a couple of times, I think you should write a children's book about your relationship with the cat, with Poppy.
Oh my gosh, can we talk about the cat?
Yeah.
Have we told the cat story? We haven't.
No.
Okay. So, is it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago, it was June, and we got a call from our friend Christy, who does a lot of feline rescue. And she said, I need some help. I have this mom, a cat, and these 4 kittens, and we need a foster.
Like it was pretty emergent. They were homeless.
They were rescued from underneath an abandoned trailer house east of town in the pouring rain.
A place for Meow Rescue?
Yes.
Okay.
She's aligned with them. Yep.
And so, yes, place for Meow. So Tina's allergic to cats, but Tina's mom was having going to go through a stem cell transplant related to her multiple myeloma down in Arizona. So Tina was getting ready to go. Thankfully, Tina has a job where she can work almost anywhere. So she was getting ready to leave, potentially for the summer, where she would be gone and, fly home frequently
For
to
a
see
day
us or
here and
whatever.
there. Yep.
So I told Tina what Christy said, and she said, well, I'm going to be gone. So if you and Claire want to foster the cats, you can do it in the garage. I was like, game on.
Because I'm allergic.
I was like, game on. So she brings the mama cat, calico cat, beautiful cat, 4 little kittens who are the cutest things ever.
They're so cute.
2 calicos and 2 orange tabbies. Little
And I've
kittens.
never been around kittens really because I'm allergic.
So Tina thinks we're going to keep them in a kennel. So she sets up like this double kennel system in the garage, which lasted literally like an hour. And
True story.
Then our whole garage became a cat kingdom. And it was the most fun cat kingdom for 4 kittens to crawl all over the side-by-side, up inside the wheel wells of the cars. Like they had
so much
a
fun.
ball. Okay, so Claire and I are home. We are fostering kittens. And Tina flies back for just like a day and a half,
Like
really.
an overnight,
just
yeah.
to see us. And thankfully, it's a cheap Allegiant direct flight from Arizona to here. So she comes home, and cats are in the garage, and she gets up a little earlier than I do, and I wake up and pour myself a cup of coffee, and I can't find her. Looking all over. Finally, I go out to the garage, and here's Tina sitting on the floor of the garage, and she has kittens crawling all over her.
They were all
on top
over.
of her head,
On
all
arms,
over her
crawling,
arms,
like-
like everywhere. And she has like a tech fabric sweatshirt on. And I said, Tina, you can't, like, they're going to snag your sweatshirt. No kidding. She looks up at me and says, Jenny, this is my cat hoodie. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so she loved those dang kittens, playing with them,
They
and
were
the
so
mama
much
cat
fun.
popping allergy pills the whole time.
Yeah.
So it comes time to wean the kittens, and 2 kittens each went to a home. So they each got to get adopted out to a family with one of their siblings, which was super cool. And I post a video on our Facebook about the mama cat looking for a home, no takers, like no takers. And meanwhile, I'm kind of falling in love with this cat because calico cats have a unique personality.
I have
They're
one.
very aloof. They can be kind of sassy. They are just kind of their own vibe. So Tina's in Arizona, and she's coming home. And I see, Tina, listen, this cat, she's got a checkered past. She was a teen mom. She needs a break.
All true.
She was rescued from under an abandoned trailer, Tina. Like, she needs
needs
something
stability.
good. She needs stability. And Tina says, and now keep in mind, our main floor of our house, we have no doors at this point on the main floor of our house. We haven't put in the pocket door for the half bath yet. And the only other door on our main floor is our pantry. So on our main floor is like our laundry room, half bath, kitchen, living room, our bedroom, and bathroom. And Tina says, and I said, Tina, it's also getting really hot here. It's like 90 degrees in the garage.
Right.
We have to let her in. And Tina says, not ever having a cat. Fine, but she has to stay in the laundry room. And I said, okay. So I picked up Poppy,
I didn't know.
the cat. Her name's Poppy Harlow. Pick her up, and I bring her inside, and I put her in the laundry room, and I said, Tina says you have to stay here, okay? Needless to say, she didn't stay there, and Tina finally said, okay, fine, but she can't ever get on our bed. I said, okay. I said, don't get on the bed, okay? And then shortly after that, I get COVID. And I banished myself to the basement
She's got to go to the basement.
for a week. Like,
Because I can't afford to get COVID ever, but I really can't at this point because of my mom's stem cell transplant.
right. So I banished myself to the basement. I'm just down there, like people are bringing me food and water and putting it outside the guest room door. I get done with COVID, test negative, come back upstairs. I come upstairs and I walk into our master bedroom, and Tina is on the bed with every dog, all 3 dogs, and the cat laying on her with like a can of Pringles. I go, what is going on up here?
I have lost all control.
Did you break out in hives or anything?
No.
She didn't.
That's the weird thing is, for whatever reason, the dander of this cat does not bother me. And now, 3 years later, Poppy has marked me as her person.
Oh.
So anyway, so it came from like Tina not liking cats. And then I videoed all of this like on our Facebook. This was before we had social media, just for our friends. And I would catch them in doing these crazy things, like Tina's power washing the house and the cat is in the window with her,
watching,
like following her around window to window, like they're power washing. Tina goes for a walk in the yard. The cat goes for a walk in the yard with all 3 dogs. I come in the kitchen. Tina's giving the dogs treats. The cat is sitting there with the dogs waiting for her treat,
all
too.
4 of them lined up.
All lined up. Now, Tina will lay on the bed, and Archer, our golden, is like, we call him the jelly donut because he's jealous all the time.
Of everything.
And the cat and Archer like compete for her attention. So they're both laying like on her on the bed. And now the cat will like turn around and like lick his head and clean him up a little bit. And, they're
These 2.
They're all Tina's pets now. I say I live with Dr. Doolittle, and that's totally true.
I really want a hoodie now that has a picture of Tina laying on the ground with kittens, and then it saying, "This is my cat hoodie."
My cat hoodie. And I would wear it backward, so the hood was in front. So I would fold the hood down, and I would put one of the kittens in the hood. And they would play with, like, I would do this, and the other 3 cats are crawling all over my arms and my back and my legs, and it totally gave the mama kitten a break. And we have a TV in the garage.
Oh my gosh.
And I would pull up YouTube and play cat music.
She would play relaxing music for your cat. You can look it up on YouTube.
You can do a search, relaxing music for cats and dogs. And it would play this melodic music that just put them all to sleep. And we had great big Papasan cushions, so like Papasan chair cushions that I tossed out there, and they would all just chill out.
It was great. But the love affair story with Tina and the cat was so precious. And as the months go by and I'm posting these things about Tina and the cat, people are like, you should write a children's book. This is the best story ever because, from somebody who was like, no, anti-cat, we're never having one. And now Tina is fascinated by her. I think she's just the bee's knees.
They're just hilarious. They're so funny. They're so much different than dogs. And I hadn't really ever spent time around them to experience the differences, the vast differences. And we would call, when the kittens were still there, Jenny and I would call it, let's go have coffee with the kittens or coffee with the cats. And I think that'd be a good children's book name.
It would.
Coffee with the cats.
Yep.
I love it. So, on our book list.
Yeah.
And I've actually
You've
put an outline together of a book that I'd like to write. Yeah.
What's that book?
A book about my work, about caregiving. And, there's lots of adult children who are now making the transition into parenting their parents. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things that I hear all the time is like, this doesn't come with a manual. And I think I'd like to write the manual on aging parents and how to make that transition and have difficult conversations about hard things and making sure people are prepared for the journey of what aging is like and walking through that with parents.
Well, I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah. Not fun. But it doesn't have to be unpleasant. I think knowledge helps a lot of things. And it's just like you've never done something before, learn all about it.
Yeah.
Learn everything you can about whatever that process or project is. And in this case, aging parents, like what do you need to be thinking about legally and, Medicare wise and insurance and, powers of attorney and do you need a trust or not a trust and how things are set up for successful aging because it matters. It really can matter.
And I also think having transparent conversations with your parents before it's too late, and I use that term in quotes, too late, really to find out what their wishes are and kind of establish some markers is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still have both of your parents?
I do. They're my worst clients.
Your dad is so naughty.
He's so bad.
He's so naughty.
He's like 1 inch away from being like declared an non-compliant patient by He's diabetic. I find like Coke cans in his
like
truck.
Dr. Pepper cans in his truck.
God, he's so awful.
Snickers wrappers.
Yes, for
That is
sure.
naughty.
So thank God for my sister because she's
Jade.
the baby of the family. My sister Jade, she's a nurse practitioner, and she can, as the baby, she can speak to my parents in a way that I could never. I'm the oldest, and I mean we just totally fit the birth order thing, but she can be so much more direct with them, and they receive that from her, and to actually take her advice. If I did that, I could never. I just don't even think I could do it.
I don't think you could say it, but even though Jade does it in a very direct and matter-of-fact way, it's still done with kindness. It's almost clinical because of what she does. And they listen to her, and thank God they do.
I think they're oppositional with me.
They want you to mom them, and to put a stereotypical term on things. And Jade dads them. He's like the tough love. She's like the tough love.
Totally true.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for her. I tell her all the time, I'm like, thank you so much. Like she manages my dad's blood sugar monitor and she's got the app on her phone and she does all of that stuff. And I'm so grateful. I'm like, I owe you big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
And one day our kids will be doing that for us, right?
Oh, no doubt.
For sure.
Treat your kids kind when they're young. They're in charge when we're old.
I always tell my 9-year-old that he's going to change my diapers one day.
That's right.
The first time I told him, he cried. He's scared.
He's scared. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
No, Mom.
Oh my gosh.
That's gross.
Totally.
What is one question that you guys get a lot? Like the number one question from your
How
viewers?
we met
And what we do for work.
and what we do for work.
That's crazy.
Those are the two that we probably get the most. And if we are live and somebody comes into a live that isn't a follower, we're just served onto their feed, they'll ask, are you married? We get that. We get that a lot. And then sometimes we have to have a moderator politely ask someone to leave the room and block them because of the the follow-up comments. But for the most part, they watch. They're still in the room and they're watching the exchange and they're trying to get educated, and inevitably you continue to see them now populate into the feed week after week, and then we'll get a message.
Because they fall in love with you.
They'll say, I have quietly watched in the background for the last year, the last 6 months, the last 3 months, last night's live or, last week's live when you were talking about XYZ, pick a topic, sobriety or health or mental health or the kids or, parenting or a project, whatever. really spoke to me, and we may be their first exposure to a same-sex couple. So I'm glad that we have that platform to be able to just let them watch, learn and receive at their own pace. There's no pressure.
Yeah. It's a really cool dynamic, I think. And, the reach of it, I just still don't think that because we don't really think about it. I still don't think we realize how far those little, tentacles go out there, right? And and who they might affect. And, we've gotten messages where people say, I've been a follower since the very beginning, but I've never said anything in a live, but I wanted to send you this message and tell you, So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I love that.
And even this last Friday, we went live and it went so fast. We were on for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And at one point, there's 600-700 people.
Wow.
In the live, and from all over. We had people from the Netherlands that had never been in before, first time, and you can go back and look at the analytics, and now I can see that they stopped in, they watched for this amount of time, and now when I go to check on who our new followers are, they're now a follower.
Wow.
So it's so hard to conceive the concept of reach from social media. And
I just knocked the chair over. So sorry. Okay.
Are you okay?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I was pulling my phone out because I wanted to read an email.
Oh,
So sorry.
you're okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
These things happen, but I'm a little worried about your coffee.
I'm a bull
being
in a
there
china
now.
shop.
I'm glad you
All right,
didn't
Tina.
fall out of the chair.
Yeah, no, it's okay. As
Thanks,
long as you're
baby.
good. So I'm going to pivot here for a minute. And one of the funny things about Jenny is this is Jenny. This is the person that has tripped over the hose at the gas station while filling her car.
Oh my God, and fell
With petrol.
flat on my back. Twisted my knee. I was with staff, a couple of my staff, and I just was like, just give me a minute.
Yep.
Somebody call Tina, because you were just 5 minutes
I
away.
was just a few minutes away.
And because I knew I tweaked my knee, so I just was like, you know how you just, at this age, you lay there and take inventory, right?
Yes.
My
This
gosh,
older
it's so
guy walks over from his pickup truck to pumps over and says, ma'am, I had this pillow in my truck. Would you like this pillow under your head? I was like, I'm good.
When did you do this?
It was a couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
I've had a lot of injuries.
She's
with
had a lot
Tina.
of just random, weird things like that. So this is not abnormal.
No.
Like the chair falling over.
No.
That's why I just wait until it stops. Like, ding, ding,
Until it
ding, 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 ding. And then, are you okay? Is everybody
my
okay?
gosh.
Okay, cool. Let's moving on.
Okay, I have an email I want to read.
Okay.
Okay, I won't share the name. Hello, Jenny and Tina. I have written and erased this email numerous times and are going to now try to write it again. My name is, and I am from Connecticut. 20 minutes from Fairfield. My girls go to Fairfield University. I was the one, Tina, that talked to you about people you know at the Patterson Club. I don't know how to write this without sounding like I am rambling, so I apologize if it comes off as that. In June of 2022, an hour before my twin girls graduated high school, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That was the beginning of 2.5 years of very tough emotional times for me. I went through a double mastectomy and got through the summer with anxious thoughts of going into the new year as a 6th grade teacher. That November of 2022, my brother passed from cancer, and then in February of 2023, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So here we are, 2 years, 3 months from my husband's diagnosis and ongoing every other week treatments. Last week, my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I have struggled with the weight of everything. I found you both last year and have faithfully followed you ever since. Every other Friday, my husband and I kind of hang low because it is a treatment week for him, and we hang low for the weekend. Last night was a rough night for him with treatment this week. He was sleeping, and I sat down to read and set an alarm to watch you before you went into the concert, which I know was canceled as I watched the live. I just wanted to say that I was struggling in my head last night with just everything going on and was thrilled beyond words that I was able to listen to you and escape from reality while my husband slept on the couch. You both allowed me to step away as you do every Friday, especially every other Friday. Your wisdom, your kindness are truly felt in my heart. I know I have never met you, but I feel like you are a friend. You give so much of yourself to your listeners, and I, for one, don't know if you know how much that means to me. I just wanted to send a very heartfelt thank you to you. I wish I could hug you and tell you how much you helped me in those tough emotional times. Thank you both so very much. With love.
Wow, that. Oh, my goodness. And that's just, oh, man, that's just one person.
It's just one. And we've connected with her since receiving this email.
Oh, good.
And I don't know that I can fully articulate how touching the messages that we get really are. And it's not only validating in some ways, right? But it's such an honor to know that by us being us, it's fully open and transparent. It is a welcoming space for people to ask questions. It's community. At the end of the day, that is the word that sums it up. It's community.
But I think it's a little more than that because you know how to do so many things that maybe aren't like gender. Traditional gender things, right?
Yep.
And so, just like last weekend when we cleaned our air conditioner for summer, like cleaned out the coils and took the
I saw the video.
All of the stuff off, and Tina's spray painting the, giving it a freshen up and whatever. And there's so many people who are like, I never knew you had to do that, or I didn't know that you could do that yourself. I thought you had to call someone. And I think just it's a balance of that community and the way that you explain things being non-threatening, and you just break it down and you're real slow and calm about it. And also, so it's sort of like the gateway to that community is through the teaching that we do, on our platforms.
Yeah, and certainly in the realm of the videos, right? Like it's content that we are shooting for projects that we are actually doing, things that need to be done. Nothing's planned or canned or anything like that. But when it comes to the lives and the number of comments and questions that we get within that time frame every Friday, or the follow-up questions and emails that we get, DMs, what have you, it is a total cup filler for us. And we say that often, but it really is. We don't take it lightly. Like, somebody took the time, as she said, to write it, erase it, write it, rewrite it, and to be that vulnerable with people that she has never met, but we have given her a space comfortable enough to do that for herself, but also have opened ourselves up enough for her to feel connection. You can't get that. Not everybody that's on a social media platform makes that connection like that. And for me, that is that's the cool factor for me. is for somebody to truly feel how I feel and what I'm trying to hopefully allow them to feel. Like, come on, if we were sitting across from each other, having never met before, this is what it would be like.
And let's face it, we are all on a social media platform on some level.
Some degree, yeah.
We all are. You know, we all have, most people anyway, have Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or something, and we're all on a social media platform. And I think when I watch social media, I think the thing that's missing is authenticity and real connection that crosses over into real life. Instead of being, you know, and I think that's what we challenge people to do is, instead of just being a consumer of social media, be a participant in authentic connection with other people.
So good. That statement right there.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
Well, instead of being a consumer of social media, we invite people to be a participant in authentic connection with other people. And not just, and anyone can do that. You know, we all have that ability. And, you know, for a long time, like on my personal Facebook and things like that, you know, I would say all the time, I'm not just interested in people's 5-star days. I want to hear about the 1-star days. I want to hear about, you know, real things and what you're really struggling with. And I always appreciate when people are courageous enough to just tell it like it is, even though it might not be, you know, Facebook pretty, right?
It's tough.
It's hard. And, you know, a couple of things that I take away from that statement that you shared, and it's such a profound way to look at connection and communication, is the authenticity factor relating to kind of your motto of just showing up. Just show up. Show up to the conversation. And the other part for me is the 1-star day. Everybody's life is messy. Nobody is unscathed. Nobody gets out alive. Nobody's perfect. And if we collectively, as a community, as a society, could extend a little bit more grace when someone is authentic enough and vulnerable enough to share the 1-star days.
Meet them in the mess.
Meet them in the mess. We would be without judgment. There's the kicker, is without judgment. It's truly just sitting there, sit with them, walk through it with them.
Yeah.
You'll get more than you could possibly imagine out of that experience.
I call it, you know, there was a thing that went around. It was like standing in the gap. You know, how our mothers and grandmothers were good at standing in the gap. They were showing up with a hot dish when somebody passed away or whatever. And, you know, I've had so many amazing opportunities to serve others when, you know, how many times when a traumatic thing happens to somebody and you don't know what to do and you don't know what to say, so you end up doing nothing, or you send like a text message or whatever. I decided that I would just go to their home and do the dishes. Do the dishes, wipe the counters, and bring ingredients that I could put in my crock pot and plug in on their counter.
Yep.
And it's usually not just that. Maybe there's kids that need to go to a park and run it off, or maybe there's a load of laundry that needs to get thrown in, or maybe you need clothes ironed for a funeral that you didn't think you were going to go to in a couple days. And, you know, I can't describe how good it feels to be of like real service, like actually, you know, everybody says, what can I do? What can I do for you? Like, I really mean it. What can I do? But nobody ever answers that. Nobody ever says, here's what you can, or rarely anyway, here's what you can do for me. Here's what I need. I always tell people, like, I'm good at crappy errands you don't want to run. I'm good at, I can pick things up. I can grocery, like, here's my skill set. Like, there's nothing you can ask me that, because I think we always want to give someone a task that is, shinier,
It's shiny, right?
When really what you need is, I need you to go to Walgreens and pick up my antidepressant prescription.
Yeah.
And if you could drop these things at the post office, and my kids need to get picked up at 3:15.
Yeah.
On it. I got that. It's
I
not
think
hard.
that really needed to be heard. Because you offer your assistance to people, and sometimes, like you said, they don't respond.
They don't.
And I think about myself, I'm horrible at asking for help.
Right. and most people are. They'll say, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm good. When you know in your mind, if I could just get some help with these 3 things, but I don't want to ask. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to societally, I don't want to give the impression or portray an image that I need help.
Right.
That I can't do it all. And it's interesting. We have a good friend who recently, and I think we talked about this last week, who recently lost her husband, who I was very good friends with, very unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And when something like that happens, you have that surge of people that huddle and protect the person who is left here to deal with that loss for the first, give it a short time period, right? For the first month, 6 weeks maybe. But then they all start to fall away and they go back to their day-to-day. And at some point, 2-3 months in, you're back to being alone, like on the island, still dealing with the loss and the grief and the how-to. How do I do all of these things that my spouse or my partner, my significant other did for our household? And that's when you want to show up. Not that you can't on the front end, but don't forget them 3 months, 6 months, a year down the line, because their loss is forever.
Right.
Their grief is forever.
And we took her dinner a couple weeks ago. There was a meal train. Easy thing, right? So take dinner over. And I said, what can we do? How can we show up for you going forward? Like, not just in this moment, but like, what can we do?
Great way to pose the question.
And she looked at me and she said, ask me to go hiking, ask me to go for a walk, get me out of this house. And I said, easy, great, we'll do that. And I said, I would also like to offer another thing. I said, I know your husband did, and she told me that he did like all of the maintenance and all of the, fix-it things and whatever. I said, Tina's your new fix-it person. Anything goes wrong, you don't know what to do, something breaks,
just call.
You need maintenance, just give us a call. We'll be right over. And she was like, that's huge. That's a huge thing. I was really, I was worried about that. And I was like, yeah, it's easy,
Bless your heart.
So I sold you.
Perfect.
Are you just finding out about this?
Yes. But that's okay, because
she's our dear friend.
It couldn't go, my time couldn't go to a better person.
Yeah.
And for a better reason, Her husband was the male version of me. This gregarious, outwardly funny and loving, and
their energy level put together, I mean, uncontainable. Like, just both effervescent, charismatic, lovely people.
He will be missed. He's an awesome, incredible human being, funny, giving, talented, just he will be missed.
So now we
get to love him through doing for her.
And she's a wonderful person too. Like, I adore her in all ways. And, you know what? It's just things like that. By showing up, if I hadn't gone there and hugged her and had a conversation, I wouldn't know what she needed. I wouldn't know how we could best be a support for her.
So how would you put into a couple sentences what people should take away from this information?
I believe, and Tina believes too, I tell myself all the time, love is a verb. And so, you know, it's one thing to, you know, care about someone and love someone, but move your feet. Move your feet. You know, I mean, love someone in a way that is actionable. Doesn't have to be huge. You could go pick some wildflowers and throw them tie a string around them and wrap them in some paper and take them to someone to brighten their day or whatever. But I just do think that we live in this world of, you know, texting, and it's all very impersonal. And I think you can really set yourself apart by being thoughtful in a way that is action based. So that's my challenge.
And think outside the box with the action based items. A couple of days ago, I believe it was like National Pay It Forward Day, and on our live, somebody had brought that to our attention and said, you know, one of my favorite things is, you know, paying for the coffee for the person behind me in the drive-through or what have you. And I said, that's very kind and a great way to celebrate National Pay It Forward Day, but I would encourage you to think outside the box. And that started a whole conversation of, what do you mean? What are some other ideas? And I said, call a school, an elementary school in your community, and put $100, $20, whatever it is that you can afford toward unpaid balances. So kids can
fed.
So kids can eat.
$147,000 in debt.
In debt.
Yeah, our district.
You know, little things like that. Go to a assisted living facility and find out if there's somebody there that can't get out, that would like to go to Walmart or to Target and shop on their own, but, you know, maybe there's a mobility issue. Get the list. Go help.
Handwritten note.
Yep. We think sometimes we get caught up in, I've got to do this big thing to make this big splash, this big impact in order for it to be meaningful. And life happens down here, not up here. You know, get granular. Find the little things every day.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Phone number and website?
TheUnicornProjects.com is the website. If you would like to leave a question, a comment.
And we have merch.
Yes.
So exciting.
The email address is info@theunicornprojects.com, or you can leave us a message at our toll-free number, which is 844-605-LIFE, 844-605-5433.
All right, ladies.
Well done.
Unicorn.
Unicorn.
Thank you for tuning in to the Unicorn Projects, hosted by Amy Rose with Jenny and Tina. Music by Caroline Kilty. Produced by Russ Haddon. Engineered by Chris Jaquez. It's the Unicorn Projects on the Home Slice Audio Network.